Hello, hello, hello. I've started right on time because I'm not convinced about the weather. Although I should be really, shouldn't I? Because we always have good lives on a Tuesday. Hello. I've got quite a lot I'd like to dip into today. So it's an interesting planetary setup at the moment. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about a great question that was asked of me today. A little bit about the full moon, and also that this is the beginning of air week. So we'll be talking about the air element through this week as well. So like I said, quite a lot to get through, quite a lot to talk about. You'd never think Mercury was still in Aries, would you? Such a lot to talk about. Hello. Oh, hello, Sam. Thank you for coming along. Brilliant. And I know that you've shown an interest in the Jupiter, Neptune, Pisces, and I'm definitely got something to say about that. Absolutely. First of all, I want to talk about a question that was asked of, is there an overall bigger cosmic energy that we can all be using? And it sort of actually brings everything together with everything else that I'm talking about today, because yes, and we're in it. So it won't surprise you to hear me say that I do see this as the most significant decade for humanity in a very, very many years, probably hundreds. Because we've got opportunities to really do some things, really. I'm not too keen on the word reset, but I'm going to use it. Forgive me. But we have got that opportunity to change things. And so when I see a question such as that, have we got, what is the cosmic bigger picture, or is there an overall energy? Yeah, absolutely, there is. And there's also an opportunity for us all to redefine who we think we are and how we are going to walk forwards being ourselves and on this planet. That's big, that's deep, I know, and it's a huge arc of planetary energies, but we do have that opportunity, and I see it as such an amazing opportunity. And this current Jupiter Neptune in Pisces, now you'll know I have referred to it from time to time. Whenever I refer to Chiron in Aries, Uranus travelling through Taurus, and Neptune in Pisces, conjunct next to, aligned with Jupiter right now. And both of those planets, by the way, Jupiter and Neptune rule Pisces, so it gives it a bit of an extra oomph, if you like. But those are those bigger picture planets. And I know there's a great deal to be said about the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, because it is exact today. However, when you look at the overall pattern of the universe and the way the planets behave and the dances and the movements that they make to create their energy, it's more about a rhythm and a cycle. So I'm going to knock a couple of myths that I've already read today on the head and say, please don't expect a huge magical insight, or because it's Jupiter, a big sort of thunderbolt of insight necessarily today. You might get one, but don't expect it, because those planets are big energies and they've been moving towards all of this for quite some time, and that energy will reverberate and resonate through the universe as we move forwards. So what I want to say, and again, it's one of my core messages, I think, is we've got time. You don't have to necessarily think, I've got to look at this today. The bigger picture of it is of spiritual, because it's Jupiter, Neptune in Pisces. That there's a, oh, hello, Borit, thank you for coming. Oh, from Sweden, thank you for, oh, I haven't positioned us, have I? Borit, thank you, you've reminded me. Remember, we're all watching this from our position on Earth and viewing the universe in our own way, from our own position. So when you are, just moving my papers a little bit, it's beginning to drizzle a little bit. When you are thinking about this Jupiter, Neptune in Pisces, you're coming to it from your own perspective and your own position. And yes, the Jupiter, Neptune in Pisces is a brilliant energy. It actually brings together some certain astrology that we've been working with. Think about the Uranus going into Taurus in April 2019. And the way that we've been talking about that would trim and alter our view of our values. And we've got this rhythm and this pulse right now for some mystery to come in, for some spiritual healing, and for us to really start to put things in place for ourselves that have come out of those last couple of years. And I see it as a whole. I can't really take astrology to pieces in the same way as I see some of it being broadcast right now, because it all creates a blend of energies, the like of which we've never seen before and will never see again. So as you're walking through these next few days, and I'd love you to consider the Jupiter, Neptune, the idea of some spiritual understandings, some new perspectives perhaps of your purpose coming in, but also know that you're walking on the earth. And there are some other things happening as well. And added together as we go through this year, because I feel we're in the middle of this opportunity. As we go through this year, we'll be tweaking different parts of ourselves so that we are aligned. I hope that makes sense. It's quite a big question, and I wanted to talk about it not only because it's happening and it's quite intense right now, the Jupiter, Neptune in Pisces, but because it fits in with the whole pattern that I've been talking to you about for the whole of this year. Well, and the fact that we're in the middle of this decade. So please don't think, and I think I'm going to put a little post in tomorrow, please don't think you're missing anything by not getting on top of this right now. You're already in the middle of that energy. I've been talking about it all this year and will continue to do so. And don't forget, we're now coming into, at the end of this month, Pluto goes retrograde, so we're then coming into some retrograde planets. And actually, by mid-May, both Jupiter and Neptune are retrograde. They don't ever go quite back as far as where they are today, but they do get to within about 6 degrees of each other again. So we'll sort of meet the same energy again, but in a slightly different way as we get to May. I've just been dripped on. Is that the goddess saying, hey, you're on track? Or is that goddess saying, oh, hurry up? Please do drop your questions into the thread if you have any. And do tag me question. I love questions and I love to answer questions. And I want to help you make the best use of these energies. And one of the things that I have been thinking about is we're looking at the elements this month here in this group. And by looking at the elements and starting to see how those elements fit with us, with our charts, or just with how we're walking on this earth, because that's what we're here to do. By looking at the elements, we're starting to put some building blocks together. And that's so crucial for us to keep on walking forwards. I feel that so strongly, that it's important we keep on walking forwards right now. We shouldn't be holding ourselves back in any way. We don't need to. You know, everything about our planet moves us forwards. And one of the things I really, really like about that Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces, and this kind of, it goes back to when Saturn squared Uranus. That must have been last year, 2021. I'm feeling that I was talking to you about that last year. It's all about the self and about the self-exploring and being the best we can be. Because when we're the best we can be, and this is very Piscean, I know, but when we're the best we can be, that vibration goes out there. And so we're doing and we're creating and we're being and we're breathing and we're eating and sleeping, meditating, all of that. And that enables that vibration to go out. So, I've seen a few posts today making it look like it's just one day rather than a point of energy. Exactly. And I'm always very, very careful. And I hope you all get that in here. And certainly we're going to be exploring this. We're actually going to be exploring this on a deeper level in the membership this week, because I think it's so important that we realise they're all energies, and they're all energies that we can choose to use, and we don't miss out on anything by choosing not to use it. But it's a rhythm and a pulse, and Jupiter and Neptune, by our calculations and wherever we're standing, wherever we are on planet Earth, at some point, yes, they will appear to be conjunct, and the energy will be that purest of the energy for a moment. However, there's been months of it applying, and I've been talking about this for a long time, and as the planets separate over the next couple of months, we will still be in that energy and still have an opportunity to think, how can I polish that and use that mysticism and that connection in with the Piscean imagination even more for myself. And then when those planets go retrograde in May, and don't worry, I'll keep you updated. You know I do about retrogrades, love them, really do. Because what happens mid-May, when they're within 6 degrees of each other again, we will have a chance to look at it again. So be open, yes, absolutely. And I see my role as giving you information. That's all I'm doing. I try to anyway. Give you information so that you can consider it and think about it and see if it fits for you. I hope that kind of helps and helps you feel a bit, because I've seen several posts out there today, and it worries me a little bit, because astrology is for life, not just for one day. So we're in this together, all of us, and it's a rhythm and a cycle, and they're energies that we can use and continue to use, continue to learn from and evolve and grow. And yes, the bigger energies for this whole decade are asking certain things of us. And if we have our finger on the pulse, we will be giving more back to the planet when we leave, than we've taken, which will begin to address the balance. I'm aware as I'm talking to you about this, and so, you know, these lives, I don't really plan them. I mean, I do have notes, of course I do, and I always print the charts off so I keep myself a little bit on track and don't go off into 2025 or something. But I do see us as really needing to address that balance, and it leads me to think that there's something there about how we are going into the Age of Aquarius. And going into that great big age of the next 2,000 years, it's quite important that we go into it in the right way. So there's some big thinks, sorry about that, big thoughts there. And I'm very, very happy for you to question them and to discuss them. Absolutely I am. For now, we are still in a growing moon. And the full moon is on Saturday. So by the time I speak to you next, Borit, listening while working, love your guidance. Oh, thank you, Borit. Well, I'm very, very happy to answer any questions, especially if you know, with what's going on right now and just the way some things are portrayed out there by people who perhaps see one thing and only one thing and want to use that in a certain way. The full moon on Saturday, it's a great time for some real, I want to say clearing out, which I know doesn't quite sound right with full moon because you'd think that would be afterwards, but it does feel to me as though it's going to be a good time for that. What did I write down here about the full moon? Yeah, actually some clearing and some cleansing. That full moon, it's at 26 degrees of Libra. So we've got that Libra Aries axis of 26 degrees, which is quite an interesting one because it's almost tipping into the next signs, and that moon will move into the sign of Scorpio very quickly after the full moon. So I think do some clearing, do some cleansing, do some thinking about what you sort of kind of want to let go of. I think that, and I'm almost hesitating about that phrase too. Gosh, there's so many phrases which are used out there at the moment in ways that I think don't always do them justice. But I think perhaps it's this whole idea of giving back and letting go. I'm going to be planting some seeds this week, actually, before the full moon, so they've got the full-on growing energy, and the water table is up at its almost up at its maximum. And I'll talk some more about that because I'm very, very excited. I'm doing a year-long course in growing linen, growing textiles. So that's me this week doing that, and I think it's a good idea overall. If I had one overall thing to say, is that idea of giving back more than we take. And if we can really start to do that and really start to work on that and really start to include that in our consciousness, then we're setting things right. Then we're setting Uranus in Taurus. Then we're on the money with the Neptune, Jupiter. Then we're really working with Chiron in Aries, the bigger picture energies. Sam, interesting call. I know. Oh, we had our first session this week. I'm making myself accountable by talking to you all about it. I hope you realise that, because I'm going to have to prove it by growing something. But I have my seeds ready, and I'm really interested in how that's going to develop over the course of the year. And if I actually do end up with some linen that I've grown, I'm going to be really interested to see how that works, and to be in that cycle. And that's what I really want to talk about so much. And I'm very passionate about this, that we are in a cycle, we are in a rhythm. And if something takes a year to learn about, and I've been there because I've done this work for 30 odd years now, and I have taken a year or 2 years to work on and understand a principle or something. It's not all fast track. And so have a think over this week about how you can give more than you take and what that means for you. And oh gosh, I'm really got such a lot to get through. The air element, because I wanted us in April to start our astrological year off in a really building block way, and the element of air. And I've written myself a little note here for the first air task. So air signs, of course, are Gemini, ruled by Mercury, Libra, ruled by Venus, and Aquarius, old style, ruled by Saturn, new rulership, Uranus. So we say Aquarius is ruled by both Uranus and Saturn. You may have your sun sign of one of those. You may have your moon sign of one of those. You might have another planet in one of those air signs. Or you may have that in your chart as not being occupied by a planet, but you've still got it in your chart. All of us have all of these elements. So what do I want you to do this week? I would love you, because we're talking about the air, we're talking about ideas, thoughts. Post a photo, either under here or I'll do a new thread. Post a photo of your current journal or notebook. Where do you record your ideas? Where do you jot your shopping list down? Where do you write those thoughts? That's the air task. A photo. I just thought photos are very Neptunian, aren't they? I must have been working with that energy. Post a photo of your journal. Happy to answer any questions. Practical myth busting. Yeah, I'm hoping I've done that, and I'll continue to do it. I'm very aware of myths that are begun, shall we say, without an awful lot of thought put behind them. And what we just need to be doing right now is knowing what's going on in the heavens, in the skies above. Know what's going on up there, and feel that connection with ourselves down on earth, and then choose to use it. So I hope that's made sense. I feel as I've given a lot of information for you to take on board. I'm so pleased if you ask questions. I love it, because it means that I can explore something else with you all. But for now, please just think of where you're recording your notes and give us a photo. And also of the fact that we all fit into this bigger picture. We're all here in this bigger picture together, and we can have time over what we're doing and how we're exploring it. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope that's answered several questions that I'd not only received, but that I saw out there and wanted to put right. Let me know if you're interested in the Inner Circle, the Shine Your Magic Club, where we go into everything deeper, and certainly will be this week in a live call that we've got. But also, I'm back here next Tuesday. I'm in this group a lot, as you know. And I'd love to know what your thoughts are on giving back more than we take. I know it's something which is easy to say, but I feel as though it's intrinsic to how we go into this next age of Aquarius. So, enjoy the full moon this weekend. I think it's a celebratory one as well as a releasing one. And I'm sending you all my love from Alison. And thank you for watching.